But don't compare yourself to others. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I want to talk to you about something real tonight. Something that can steal your joy, shake your confidence, and leave you feeling like you're not enough. And that's the habit of comparison. Comparison steals joy and confidence because it shifts the focus from what we have to what we lack. It creates a mindset where success is measured not by personal growth, but by how we stack up against others. The moment we start comparing, we invite self-doubt into our minds, and that doubt slowly chips away at our confidence. Instead of recognizing our own progress, we fixate on someone else's achievements, convincing ourselves that we are behind, that we are not good enough, that we are failing. This toxic cycle makes it nearly impossible to appreciate what we have, and it blinds us to the blessings and talents within us. Social media has only amplified this issue, making it easier than ever to see the curated, polished versions of other people's lives. We scroll through images of success, beauty, and achievement, but what we fail to see are the struggles, the failures, and the sacrifices that went into those moments. This distorted perception makes us believe that others have it all figured out while we are stuck, struggling, or falling behind. It fuels insecurity and makes us question our own journey. The more we compare, the more we diminish our own accomplishments, downplaying our progress as insignificant simply because someone else appears to be ahead. Confidence is built through self-recognition, through acknowledging growth, skills, and effort. But when comparison enters the equation, it disrupts this process. Instead of celebrating a personal win, we undermine it by saying it's not as impressive as what someone else has done. We convince ourselves that our efforts are small, that our progress is slow, and that we don't measure up. This erosion of confidence makes us hesitant to take risks, afraid to step outside our comfort zone, and reluctant to embrace new opportunities. We become paralyzed by the fear of not being as good as someone else, and in doing so, we limit our own potential. Comparison also breeds unnecessary pressure. It makes us feel like we need to rush, like we need to achieve certain milestones at the same time as others. It creates an invisible race that was never meant to exist in the first place. When we measure our timeline against someone else's, we start making decisions out of fear rather than passion. We take paths that don't align with our purpose just because they seem to be the right steps according to societal expectations. And in the process, we lose sight of our own direction. What we often forget is that everyone's journey is different. No two people have the same starting point, the same resources, or the same challenges. The playing field is never equal, and yet we hold ourselves to unrealistic standards based on another person's life. When we let comparison take over, we become blind to our own strengths, blind to our own progress, and blind to the opportunities that are uniquely ours. Instead of being inspired, we become discouraged. Instead of feeling motivated, we feel inadequate. And that is how comparison steals joy and confidence. You were created to be an original, not a copy. From the moment you were born, you were designed with unique abilities, talents, and a perspective that no one else on this earth possesses. There is something within you that sets you apart, something that makes you valuable in a way no one else can replicate. The problem is, too often, people abandon their individuality in an attempt to fit into a mold that was never meant for them. They see someone else excelling in a certain area and think they need to do the same. They adopt someone else's goals, someone else's style, someone else's version of success, all while slowly losing touch with their own gifts and passions. This constant need to imitate stems from a deep fear of not being enough. Society pushes the idea that there is a right way to be successful, a right way to look, a right way to live. Instead of embracing personal strengths, many people start measuring themselves against these artificial standards, believing that if they don't conform, they will be left behind. But the reality is, the most successful, impactful people in this world didn't get there by copying someone else. They got there by embracing who they truly are, by tapping into their own strengths, and by following their own unique vision. They understood that their power lies in their individuality, not in their ability to blend in. Trying to be a copy of someone else is exhausting. It requires constant effort to maintain an image that doesn't align with who you truly are. It forces you to suppress your own creativity, your own instincts, and your own authenticity in favor of something that feels safer or more socially acceptable. But no matter how hard you try, you can never outdo someone at being themselves. You can never replicate their experiences, their perspective, or the passion they bring to what they do. The only thing you can truly master is being yourself, and that is where your strength lies. When you fully embrace your individuality, something powerful happens. You stop seeking validation from others. You stop worrying about fitting into the expectations that were never meant for you in the first place. You start to trust your instincts, follow your own path, and create a life that is meaningful to you, rather than one that looks impressive to others. Opportunities begin to open up, not because you are trying to be like someone else, but because you are fully stepping into who you are meant to be. People are naturally drawn to authenticity. They are inspired by those who have the courage to stand in their uniqueness, to own their gifts, and to walk a path that is true to them. When you choose to be an original, you not only unlock your own potential, but you also give others permission to do the same. You become a reminder that true success is not about fitting in, it's about standing out in the way only you can. Your gifts and path are uniquely yours. No one else in this world has been given the exact combination of talents, experiences, and opportunities that you have. Everything about you, your strengths, your struggles, your perspective has been specifically designed for the journey you are meant to walk. But too often, people overlook their own gifts because they are too busy admiring someone else's. They see another person excelling in a particular area and start to believe that their own talents aren't as valuable. They diminish their own potential by assuming that if their path doesn't look like someone else's, then it must not be the right one. It's easy to fall into this trap because we live in a world that constantly highlights certain kinds of success while ignoring others. Society tends to celebrate specific skills, industries, and achievements, making it seem as though those are the only paths that matter. But the truth is, no single road leads to greatness. Success is not limited to one definition, one career, or one way of doing things. What makes a person truly successful is their ability to embrace what makes them different and to cultivate the gifts they've been given. When you focus on what someone else has, you lose sight of what is already within you. You start questioning your abilities, doubting your worth, and undervaluing the things that make you special. But your gifts were not given to you by accident. They were placed in you for a reason, meant to be developed, meant to be shared. Just because they don't look like someone else's doesn't mean they are any less important. Every great musician, artist, scientist, leader, and innovator became great because they leaned into what made them unique instead of trying to follow someone else's blueprint. Your path will never look exactly like someone else's because it was never meant to. The timing of your success, the challenges you face, and the lessons you learn along the way will all be different. Some people find success early, while others take longer to discover their true calling. Some paths are straight, while others twist and turn in ways that don't make sense until you reach the destination. But every part of the journey serves a purpose. The setbacks, the struggles, the detours, they are all shaping you, preparing you, and molding you into the person you are meant to become. The moment you stop wishing for someone else's life and start appreciating your own, everything changes. You begin to recognize the value in your own experiences, your own talents, and your own voice. You realize that the things that make you different are not weaknesses, but strengths. You stop trying to fit into someone else's path and instead start walking boldly in your own. The more you embrace what makes you unique, the more opportunities will open up for you, not because you are following a path that already exists, but because you are creating one that only you can walk. Comparison distracts you from your mission. Every single person has a purpose, a unique path that they are meant to walk, and a contribution that only they can make. But when you spend your time looking at someone else's journey, you take your eyes off your own. Instead of focusing on what you need to do, you start worrying about what others are doing. Instead of pouring energy into your own growth, you waste it on frustration, jealousy, and self-doubt. Comparison is not just a harmless habit, it is a roadblock that keeps you from stepping fully into your own potential. When you constantly measure yourself against others, you begin to doubt your abilities. You see someone achieving something great, and suddenly, your own progress feels small. You start questioning whether you're talented enough, smart enough, or capable enough. That doubt makes you hesitate. It makes you second-guess your choices. It slows you down. And in a world that moves fast, hesitation can be the difference between success and missed opportunities. The more time you spend thinking about how you measure up, the less time you spend actually working toward your goals. The truth is, you cannot win a race if you are always looking at the runner next to you. The moment you turn your head to check on someone else's progress, you lose speed. You lose focus. You risk tripping over your own feet because your attention is no longer on your path. The same thing happens in life. The more you focus on what someone else is doing, the more you lose sight of what you are supposed to be doing. And when you are distracted, you miss opportunities that were meant for you. Comparison also makes you chase things that were never meant for you. It makes you believe that success has to look a certain way. You see someone thriving in a particular field, and you convince yourself that you need to do the same. You see someone achieving a milestone, and suddenly you feel like you're behind. But just because something is right for someone else doesn't mean it is right for you. Your mission is not to follow someone else's dreams, it is to discover your own. When you spend your time trying to live someone else's life, you ignore the unique path that was created for you. One of the most dangerous effects of comparison is that it steals your joy. Even when you achieve something great, Comparison convinces you that it's not enough. Instead of celebrating how far you've come, you focus on how much further someone else is. It keeps you trapped in a mindset where nothing you do ever feels like it's enough. And when you cannot appreciate your own success, you lose motivation. You lose the drive to keep going. You forget why you started in the first place. The more you let comparison consume you, the further you drift from your purpose, your potential, and the greatness you were meant to achieve. Focus on your own growth and progress. Too often, people get caught up in what everyone else is doing, measuring their success against someone else's timeline and feeling like they are falling behind. But real success is not about how you compare to others. It is about how far you have come from where you started. Every step forward, no matter how small, is still progress. Every lesson learned, every challenge overcome, every bit of effort you put in brings you closer to your goals. But if you are too busy looking at someone else's journey, you will never fully appreciate your own. Personal growth is not a competition. It is not about reaching a destination faster than someone else or accomplishing things at the same time as your peers. Everyone has different starting points, different challenges, and different opportunities. Some people are born with advantages that others don't have. Some people face setbacks that others will never experience. Comparing your progress to someone else's is like comparing two completely different stories. It doesn't make sense. The only real measurement of success is whether you are better today than you were yesterday. The key to real progress is consistency. Growth does not happen overnight. It happens in the small choices you make every day, in the discipline you build, in the way you push yourself to improve. When you focus on your own journey, you start to recognize the value in every step, even the slow ones. You stop rushing to keep up with others and start appreciating the process. You stop feeling discouraged by how far you have left to go and start feeling proud of how far you have already come. When you focus on your own growth, you also develop resilience. Challenges and setbacks will always be part of the journey, but if you are focused on your own path, you will see them as lessons rather than failures. You will learn from your mistakes, adjust your approach, and keep moving forward. But if you are constantly comparing yourself to others, every setback will feel like proof that you are not good enough. You will start believing that success is meant for other people but not for you. That kind of thinking will hold you back more than any obstacle ever could. Progress is personal. What looks like success for one person might not be the right path for another. Some people thrive in the spotlight, while others make their greatest impact behind the scenes. Some people build businesses, while others build families, communities, or art that changes the world. No one's path is more important than another's. What matters is that you are growing, that you are pushing yourself to be better, and that you are staying true to who you are. When you stop worrying about how you compare to others and start focusing on becoming the best version of yourself, that is when real success begins to happen. The only competition is who you were yesterday. Too many people spend their lives trying to outdo someone else, measuring their success based on what others have accomplished. They look at someone else's achievements and feel like they need to catch up. They see another person's strengths and suddenly feel like their own abilities aren't enough. But the truth is, the only person you need to be better than is the person you were the day before. Real growth comes from self-improvement, from pushing yourself to be stronger, wiser, and more capable than you were yesterday. When you focus on beating someone else, you give them control over your success. You allow their progress to dictate how you feel about your own. If they get ahead, you feel like you are losing. If they achieve something before you do, you feel like you are behind. But life is not a race against others. It is about becoming the best version of yourself, step by step, day by day. The only way to truly measure success is by looking at your own journey, your own growth, and your own progress. As self-improvement is a lifelong process. No matter how much you accomplish, there will always be more to learn, more skills to develop, and more ways to grow. The goal is not to reach some perfect version of yourself, because perfection does not exist. The goal is to be constantly evolving, constantly improving, and constantly striving to be better than you were yesterday. Even the smallest progress matters. A little more discipline, a little more patience, a little more knowledge each day adds up over time. There will always be someone who is ahead in some way. Someone who has more experience, more success, or more opportunities. But that does not mean they are better than you, and it does not mean you are failing. Everyone has their own pace, their own challenges, and their own timeline. Comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20 will only make you feel discouraged. The only real question you should be asking yourself is, am I better than I was yesterday? If the answer is yes, then you are already winning. Focusing on your own progress also brings more fulfillment. When you stop worrying about what others are doing and start focusing on your own journey, you begin to find joy in the process. You start recognizing your own strengths, appreciating your own growth, and celebrating your own victories. Instead of feeling threatened by someone else's success, you feel inspired to keep going. Instead of feeling like you need to prove yourself to others, you start proving yourself to yourself. That is when true confidence is built. Growth is not about being the best in the world. It is about being the best version of yourself. It is about pushing yourself past your own limits, setting your own goals, and measuring success on your own standards. When you commit to being just a little bit better every single day, over time, you become someone you never thought possible.